trying to bring a sense of devotion, connection to God, to people who don't have that is very, very difficult. And it's very difficult in two ways. Number one, because their beliefs are already set, so to change somebody's belief is very difficult. But it's also difficult because people sometimes tend to rebel against it. What you say scares them, and so they don't want to hear it. But here's what's really beautiful. You don't have to convince them to believe in any particular form of God. You don't have to convince them to believe in any particular religion. All you have to do is help people understand that they are connected to the universe, that they're connected to each other. And a beautiful way to help people understand that is, so if I love you, and I really love you, love is your essence, your soul, right? It's not that you get in a car accident and now you're not so beautiful, so I don't love you anymore. Or you get sick and you lose a lot of weight and you become very thin, so I don't love you anymore. Or you become very, very fat and now I don't love you anymore. Or you get a very bad haircut and now I don't love you anymore. If I love you, it's not about the shape or the size of your body or your hair or your skin. It's about your essence. And then the question becomes, well, who is that essence? Right? The body keeps changing. If you love someone, and you love them for more than 7 or 8 years, their entire body has regenerated within 7 or 8 years. Every cell of the body. So if you marry someone, and 10 years later you celebrate an anniversary, there isn't one cell of either of your bodies left today that got married to each other 10 years ago. So who's loving who? What are you loving? It's soul to soul. And you don't have to call it soul, they can call it spirit. They can call it essence, they can call it consciousness, they can call it whatever they want to call it. But science tells us all the cells of my body regenerate. Same thing, if you love your mother or your father, well, you've loved them since you were a baby, but the bodies that they had when you were a newborn and they were 25, now you're 25, they're 50, or you're 50, they're 75. Your body has changed so many times, their bodies have changed so many times. But you still love them. Who's loving who? What are you loving? And you can begin by helping people simply understand that, because what it does is it helps them realize, we're not only bodies. Because if I don't believe in anything, then I think I'm only a body. Because the minute that I start talking about a soul or a spirit, it automatically implies some kind of divinity, some kind of spiritual world. And if we don't believe in any of that, then the only option is to say we are just our bodies. We are born, we live, we die. But if I know that what I'm connected to is not the body, that what I love is not the body, then that gives me the opportunity to start to think about who is it in me that is loving. Who's the I? I've been saying I since I was about 2 years old. That's typically when kids start to learn me, mine. We keep saying I, but the body keeps changing. Who is the I? There's not one cell in my body today that was saying I when I was 5 years old, or that even was saying I when I was 40 years old. Who's the I? So you can get them at least to start to think like that, that brings them into a place of connecting with a part of themselves that's not their body. And then you can slowly, slowly offer just comments about the nature of the universe. So the nature of the intelligence, for example, that tells a caterpillar when to climb a tree and how to weave a cocoon and how to become a butterfly. The intelligence that makes seeds sprout. The intelligence in nature. How did nature get that intelligence? What is that intelligence? How does a seed know when to sprout? How does a seed know what to become? What's that intelligence? And just start to marvel at these things. Connect them with love, connect them with their hearts, connect them to Mother Nature. Get them lying on the ground looking up at the stars. You don't need to have a name for God to be touched and in awe of the nature of the universe as you lie down and you look up at the stars. Slowly, slowly help them get in touch with a part of them that isn't their bodies, that isn't their intellectual minds. And then, if you feel that they trust you, if you feel that there's a way in, you could start to share, maybe just gently, humbly, like just a friend. God, you know, when I was in India, here's what I heard. Here's what I learned. Because too frequently when we try to teach people or help them, when they haven't asked to be taught or helped, they rebel against it. And then it just ends up creating pain. Pain for us because we mean well. Pain for them because they're pushing us away. But what will happen slowly as you go back and you live that experience of faith, and so you're not miserable, people will notice and they will say to you, what has happened to you? What have you learned? Teach me. People are pulled toward light, toward peace, like magnets, because we want it. And so wherever I think I can get it, I'm pulled toward it, whether it's a shopping store with a big flashing light in front of it and a beautiful woman that I want to look like that makes me go inside, only to come out 2 hours later much poorer and even more miserable. Or whether it's somebody in my social circle who seems to really have something I want, who seems to be full of a joy, a peace that I don't have and I want it. You will attract people and then share with them. But try to share like a friend, like a sister, rather than like a teacher, especially in the beginning. Because what it'll do is it will create a space of safety for people, rather than to feel like, oh, you've come back from India and now you're trying to teach them. But you carry that faith and that love. And slowly, 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 you will touch people.